How you get your shirt to look like that?
What part of it?
Like the yellow and
Oh, I just yeah, I'll show you. Let's go. If I hide all drawings, it'll come back up. But you know where that trend line button is?
yeah.
We go down there. Like I use these parallel channels a lot, and you just put it where you want it to start. Put the end of it and drag it up or down, and it'll be. And then you can click on it, of course, and this little window will pop up. There'll be a fill color like this, and you can change the fill color to whatever you want. Um, I use yellow. I just like the way it looks. And then this is like the outline color. I use the black lines. And just like that. I like to put little kind of areas, you know, because this won't hit that exact line every time, you know, if you have just a straight line in there. So it give you an area of where it should be getting resisted or supported, kind of help you out.
Is that like the linear regression?
No, I mean it's similar, but the linear regression's like an indicator you can get on here, um, and it kind of adjusts itself, you know.
Oh,
And
okay.
sometimes it's accurate. Like right now, that's pretty accurate to what the trend is right now on the 15 minute. If you were to draw a trend line, a couple trend lines in here, that'd be pretty accurate. But a lot of times that linear regression deal is not a whole awful lot accurate. Like probably on 1 minute, it's probably pretty shaky. The higher time frame you go, I'm assuming that they can get a little better. But
Alright, thanks.
yep. What's up, Bobby?
That was really good on the 15.
What'd you say, Cash?
I was saying that actually looked really good on the 15.
Yeah, no, it looked like it was. I mean, of course, your lines would be better, but it gives you a general idea of where to put them.
For sure.
So what's up with Max Payne? She said she
She
working or
got
something.
called into work. Like, literally, they called her like an hour ago and was like, hey, you're coming to work. And she was like, yeah. So, needless to say, she was.
Yeah. Yeah, let me hide this. This is kind of just basically what I wanted to show her was, you know, like you need to get like a trend line in here, right? So like the deal that the linear regression it's not always gonna be perfect. Like this got a little bump out, but I really wanted to show her like this where see it comes down and dips through here and then comes back and tests that trend line and dips back. Somebody bought it up right here. I don't know. Like, was that yeah, that must have been Friday. Friday they launched it.
Yeah, that was Friday, right
Hmm.
after Howell's speech.
Yeah, US does this a lot too, where it'll break below the trend line and you think it's gone, but then they shoot it right back above it. US does that a lot. But you can see like right now, the trend line's
The
coming
dude
through
by
it.
the second, man, it'll go $500 direction.
Yeah, this has got a trend line that comes through this, but this is also like a pretty long-term trend. You kind of see how this is going back here. This little middle yellow box that I have, you can see it's played this for a long time. So being that those two are kind of lining up together to support it, probably a good spot to go long. And you don't go against bulls, not on US 30. Made that mistake. Yeah, that's basically what I wanted to show her, Cass. Like, you could put another trend line in here. Let me get back on it. Like, you could put another trend line somewhere in here, you know, or whatever. I usually, typically, I stick with one. If it's a bullish move, my line will be on the bottom. If it's a bearish move, my line will be on the top. I don't really like to get too many lines going in there. And then I was gonna show her something like this. Like, if you put a line kind of through here, and that's probably more like right here. This broke through it, which that means that it turned into a bullish trend or a bearish trend, and that's why you seen this big move down here. Oh, Cash, this is where I said, hey, it's about to bounce.
Yeah.
And everybody was going short on it. I'm like, yeah. I don't know about that, because, like, I mean, one thing I hate is, let me get back on the trend line, is the steep trends like this. Like, I don't really like drawing trend lines on a steep, you know, like a steep trend like this, because, I don't know, they're just kind of you know, but it broke out of it right there. Let me see if I can circle it real quick. Broke out of it right there. I'm not a big fan of those steep trends. Let's see, that's there. Anybody else got any questions though? Trying to think of everything. Max Payne wanted me to do this for us, so I was trying to, you know, think of, you know, all that stuff that I don't really do that many things, you know. I just look at where the trend's going, throw some lines in there like you would trade anything else. Like, here's one right here. You just gotta find this stuff, you know, like, okay, it's trending right here. That would have been a beautiful short. Bouncing it. And then finally broke it. They sent it. I love seeing this right here, Cash. I don't know if you've watched a bunch of these or not, but like when you have it like where it's dumped far down, it continues to go down right here, but all the price action is staying like at that trend line.
I have noticed
You know,
that,
yeah, like for me, that's just saying like they're charging it up. Like the buyers are gonna win there. It's just a matter of time when, you know.
yeah, those are the ones that I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
I don't want to short it except for quick scalps.
Yeah. Yeah, when I first started trading US30, I watched it come up like this to a resistance, and it barely moved and just stayed at that line for like hours, overnight, everything, and then I was like, man, and I was short on it too, of course, so eventually it broke through it, and that's the last time I did that. But I've noticed, like we've talked about a million times, like US just seems, for me anyway, seems to bull flag or bear flag. Whatever it's doing, it's either bull flagging or bear flagging. So it's kind of nice. Pretty simple. It seems like to call a move on it. And like here, like this move right here, the same as Tesla. Tesla got me used to this move right here where it does this and it bounces. And like, oh, it's the bounce. But if it starts curling back over like this, it's about to break that low every freaking time. Tesla got me used to that one.
Yeah, when you showed us that the other day, I started looking for that, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
you know.
it happened twice over here. I think this might have been where I showed you guys there's one right here and it broke lower, and then another one right here, and then it broke lower. I don't think I've ever seen it do more than twice. I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but that happens on stocks and everything. That's not just the US30 thing. I mean, technically it's a bull or a bear flag, but you know, like right here, I mean, this is a bear flag right here, technically. I just kind of see it as an H pattern once it breaks through that flag.
Yeah.
Everybody got their own names for stuff.
I will say there is a lot of market news this week that could cause the market to go either way.
Yeah. Well, Afghanistan stuff getting a little shaky. So we'll see what happens there.
Well, we have, I just posted it in the trader chat. They're like all of the PMI, the consumer confidence, home sales, OPEC meeting, the payment goal.
Yeah.
Like, this is a huge week.
Mm.
Which
Hell yeah.
could be why they didn't take it to new all-time highs this last week.
Yeah, it kind of got, kind of seemed like they were scared to make a move.
That's what I was thinking too. Friday, like, I was expecting a new all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
I think a large part in all of that was all that
Afghan
stuff in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And nobody was certain that it wasn't going to get worse or keep happening the
For
next
sure.
day. You know, and they just kind of shot down everything else.
Yeah. They'll get it. They'll get it for sure. Don't worry about it.
So if you get mind, I got a question.
What's up?
So I see how you're setting up your charting. You're kind of looks like you're going and making it long term. You know, from way back all the way up to the present.
Yeah.
Off all of those trend lines.
Yeah, those are like what I call like the main trend lines. So the reason this last dump that it had, the reason I don't know if you're in the US 30 chat or not. I can't see who's talking, but like for a few weeks I was saying, hey, it's going to be coming down to this trend line, you know, and I'm not too sure too many people listen to it, but it's pretty cool. Like this thing will make like 1,000-point drop to this trend line, and then come back to make a new high, all-time high, and then it'll drop another 1,000 points, come back, make a new all-time high, and then drop another. So yeah, that bottom trend line there is definitely one that I would put on your chart. Then some of this other stuff in here is kind of, I don't usually chart on standard candles because they don't respect these lines as much as like a Heikin-Ashi chart will. You can chart whatever you want on, but if you see like the Heikin-Ashi is like an averaging of the candle, so that's like where I like to draw these lines at.
You mean where it has the wick? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go to the body, I'll go to the wick, I'll go to what makes more sense and what I see, you know. So like, don't be too picky on, oh, my line's not touching the body or touching the wick or whatever. Don't be too picky on that. As long as you know, hey, when it gets to this, it should be getting supported. If it doesn't, then we got a bigger problem. But, you know, as long as you know what that line is there for, try to get like, you know, I should really have one up here, like through here at the top somewhere. Yeah. But I know if it gets past, you know, these two yellow lines right here, it's going for all-time highs, which it should. It's an index. You know, it's just where people park their money to get consistently safe returns, you know, at the end of their 401k or at the end of the year, whatever. This is where they park their money. So going short on this long term or you know, I've held them overnight. Most of the time they burnt me. So, you know, I told a couple people, like, if you want to make easy money, is go long on this thing. Like, don't look at it for a few days. I mean, it's an index.
Well, the only issue with that there is I'm starting with a small account. So
yeah.
Like if I long even in like a 0.01 position, you know, and a candle wick dives too hard, then I'm out.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
Otherwise, yeah, I would just probably take that bet for the week, you know.
No, if you do see it get down to that yellow trend line, like, buy it up. Just small. Okay. Just start buying it. And as it comes back and keeps going back up, keep buying little positions in it.
I've been doing better. My first week doing this, I blew my account up. I started like 600 and I got down. I lost like 430. But then I took some time and worked with Cash to learn a little bit more charting and get better.
Hell yeah.
I found out pitching was like entries and exits.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to kind of figure it out a little bit more, but, you know, so I don't know if you guys have a little insight on, you know, identifying some decent, like, signs for a good entry point or exit point, you know, for smaller accounts starting out.
I think the biggest thing I would tell you is, like, once you get into an entry, a long or short, just take your profit quick. Like I started the account with $1,000, and trying to learn how it moved. I got down to 600, and then I just started quickly building it from there. And I built it that way by just in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. It sucks, but once you get up there to where you can comfortably do a 0.1 instead of a 0.01, when you get to that 0.1 level, shit really starts to cooking. Because like, you know, a 10-point move is $100. And so I'm gone. I see $100, 150. You know, if it goes fast enough and I see 250, I'm out. I mean, that's just a 25-point move. This thing moves 100, 200 points back and forth all day. You know, so when you get to that 0.1, you know, it kind of is like you got to go through the mud, you know, on the 0.1 lot size for a little bit, but it honestly, it grows pretty quick. And it teaches you the same, you know. So the 0.01, the small lot size, I feel like is definitely crucial because you learn how it moves while you're trading that small lot size. So it really does. I mean, it really does the same moves back and forth. Like it'll either bull flag or it'll bear flag, back and forth, and then just put your trend line. You know, like I was just showing. Put your trend line. When you see it break that trend line, it's a trend reversal. And sometimes it'll poke it, but you'll know if it's going to come back. You know.
All right, cool. I'm gonna have to do some of that tonight.
This new version of Vision that we are testing right now, it's only a few of us have it. This should help with all the scalping. It'll look like a lot in here, but let me turn off the drift real quick so we can see. It should be on Scalper too. This is a different one than that. Than the one that everybody has. Yeah, this is different. So like you can see it grabs entries really early and it grabs a lot of exits real early. So like this, it's not. I wouldn't take every position, even though most of them are good, you know. But I still wouldn't take, because I like to see like RSI down low. I like to see like the MACD below the histogram 0 line, and like your stochastic down here low as well with the RSI. So I would take like this buy signal down here, and like I said earlier, I'm just looking for 20-30 points and I'm gone. Well, in here, if you would have hit that buy, there's over 100 points. And so like on a 0.1, if you're ballsy enough to hold it for 100 points, you know, there's $1,000 or so. But yeah, sometimes it's mainly a scalping deal, but a lot of times it'll hold it. Like if you see this short back here, it held this whole thing, you know, and there was a potential for 167 points in that one.
So, quick question on that then, because I have been kind of playing with that scalper.
Yeah, it looks like a lot, but
either bull or the bear flashing. Is that where you want to decide if you're going to make an entry on that, or do you want to wait for that sign to kind of like solidify and be established?
Well,
I noticed one candle can say bear, the next candle can say bull.
Yeah, that's just like the way standard candles kind of works out, because it's all price action on standard candles. So a lot of times you'll have like a red candle after a good green one, and you know the trend's going to continue to be a bullish trend, but because the red candle went so hard against that green one, it throws a bear. But on flashing signals, I think everybody's different. I like to get in a little early, you know, because I'm scalping. So if I see like a low RSI and everything for me is matching up and I start to see it flash, then I'll probably jump in. You know, I'm only looking, you know, 5, 10, 15 points. So, you know, if it goes more than that, cool. If it doesn't, cool. I'm still getting out with at least 25, 50, $100. It's like this one down here, this little scalp. You know, where this signal is, you know, it looks small, but there's, I mean, a big potential. There's 131 points in that little tiny move. So on the 15-minute, you know, it looks like a small move, but it's a pretty good size move. So like this one, I'd be hard pressed to take this one because the RSI is getting up there. Even though it's, you know, I'd see that it's on this trend line, and so there I could jump into it, but you know, I'd really have to force myself to get into anything. I just want to take, you know, safe moves. So if everything's lining up for me and it's flashing, I'll jump on it. You know, like where this bear signal is right here, the RSI was little high there, not too high, but a little bit. Stochastic was high, and the MACD had been trending down, like it's gonna come below the histogram there. What's that? You were cutting out. I couldn't hear.
Sorry, you used the RSI on the US 30?
Yeah, yeah, it all works the same.
What do you look for with the RSI?
I just look for it to be low or high. That's it. I mean, if it's pretty high there, above 70, you want to be careful with the short side. Like if it's above 70, everything's lining up. You think, oh, it should be going down. I did this like not too long ago. Like it literally should, like it should have been going down. Like everything was saying, hey, this thing needs to be, pulling back at least. So I went short on it, and it never came down. And it ate my lunch and took the money.
Okay, so a high RSI is somewhat of an indicator it'll go down. A low RSI is an indicator that it's going to go up.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, like I think, man, where was that spot at? Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Don't take it for gospel, but use it as an extra tool.
Yeah, I believe it was right here. When it was, damn, no, that wasn't it. Because it was when it maybe right here is when it was just hit those new all-time highs, and they just kept shoving it up, and it's like literally on the 1 hour and 4 hour. That's kind of where I look to see like when I think we should be getting a good pullback, and it literally was the highest I've seen it in a while, and it just didn't want to come down. So you gotta be careful, I think, with the short side. But if you're going long side, you're usually pretty safe because everybody wants to shove this thing up. And then at 9:30 in the morning, you got the banks that are funneling money into it from people's 401ks and whatnot. So you're pretty safe on the long side.
And that first like 10 minutes in the morning.
Yeah, it is. You gotta be careful there.
Oh man, I mean, I usually do okay on scalping it, but there was one morning I was scalping it at the first 5 minutes. I'll go back to the first 5 minutes again. I scalped like $80 within like 3 minutes, and then I did a short, and that thing just skyrocketed.
Yep. Yeah, I scalped it multiple times, and man, I like make $300, $400, $500, $600 in like 3 seconds. But I've also lost a lot of times because like literally, and you think you got enough time to go close out your position, but by the time you get there to hit close, you're negative.
Yeah, no. Now be the first 10 minutes. I'll watch the first 2 5-minute pulls and then see how the third one's going to really kind of.
Yeah.
How I'm gonna scalp, or if I'm gonna look for a couple candles distance type thing.
Yeah, personally, I don't mess with it anymore.
The open.
Yeah, I just wait. I just wait till about like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then good back and forth starts going in. Yeah,
about 10 o'clock Central?
9 o'clock for me. 9 o'clock. Yeah, so 10 o'clock. Let's see. I got my chart set up to New York time. So, let's see. 9:30 would be 8:30 for me.
Yeah, that's 6:30 a.m. for me.
Yeah. See, I want to start trading US in the morning. Like I'd like to start getting up 5 or 6 in the morning every morning and trade up to about the open. And then take a break, get some coffee, whatever, and then come back around 10 a.m. my time, or New York time, sorry. And then keep going, because there's a lot of good back and forth that happens between like 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m. A lot of good back and forth. So I'd really.
For me, that's butt ass really for me.
Yeah.
Friggin' open for New York right now is 6:30 in the morning for me. So if I'm trying to play.
Where are you on the West Coast?
I'm on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not in California, so.
You have to wake up at like what, 3 a.m. to do that?
I would. I mean, I was doing for like 2 weeks. I was staying up to the London, so it's midnight my time. Trade there, or hang out there for an hour or two, and then I go to bed. And I wake up at 6 in the morning for the New York Open. Oh my god.
Huh.
I don't know how Cass does that shit. She's crazy.
Drugs.
Oh man.
Coffee.
I heard somebody say something. Can you say that again, whoever that was?
Yeah, sorry. Those yellow lines on the chart, can you explain how you set them up in the positioning of them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let me go back to like the 4 hour. Alright. Let me scoot my tomato soup out of the way real quick. So if you didn't see that parallel channel in the trend line area, that's where I grab it. Let me get rid of this one real quick. And we'll shrink this so I can move it up. And like I said, I switched to Heikin-Ashi stuff so you can see the trend a lot better and where you should put your lines. Then we'll grab the parallel channel and zoom in a little bit. And you just drag it through, and you just put a box. And for this, I'm going to come right there. I'm kind of a little fat, but you see the bottom of the wick touched right here 2 times. It also touched right here, and I would consider these the same deal. So that's why that line's kind of fat right there. But
okay, jokes aside, how do you get the middle one though? Because I noticed it's a big dip where you put the bottom one to the top, but for the middle one, how do you figure out the placement for that?
you mean why did I put it there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure. Let me scroll this back. So it's short, and I could make it longer. Because you can see that if I extended it, it would be playing through here too. So let me just grab a line, and I'll kind of show you. See, if I extend this line, you'll see some other places that it was kind of playing in. Right around here with support, kind of got resisted here.
Using it like for I guess a longer time chart to...
Yeah, I'm just charting main trends, so I know like, hey, if it comes down, like you should see how hard it gets bought up when it gets this bottom trend line. So like right here, you can see those 2 red candles there. They clearly got supported on this trend line. These obviously got supported on it. Same thing with these.
Oh, okay. So that's like a long-term trend, and like the other one's
Yeah.
like shorter.
Yeah, right here I'm on the 4 hour here. So like this isn't going to be as strong as that bottom trend line. Because for it to get all the way down there, I mean, if you come up here and get a measure, for it to get all the way down here to this bottom trend line, I mean, you're talking about 1,000 points. If it runs 1,000 points, they're gonna start buying the hell out of it. Especially when if they're smart enough and they have that trend line down there, and they know that every time that it drops over 1,000 points, this trend line is where it gets bought up. You can expect to get bought up really hard there. So that's like my main one, and then these 2 right here, they're kind of just, they're ones that come into play, but if it blows through it and doesn't even look back, I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be surprised, because they're kind of main trend lines, but they're not. Like I'm looking on a main trend line, I'm going to look for like a channel, almost like you would like if you're swing trading, like I said earlier, if I put this, as another box up here, let me get it again. And I'm just gonna rough draw this in, so don't judge. If I put that in there, like this is starting to wedge up, so by the time maybe it gets up and starts to break out of this, then we might be seeing some really flying numbers to a new high. But
okay, I heard you say something about pips though. Should I worry more about how much it increases in pips, or should I just follow it to the trend line?
On US, I don't consider it pips. I just call it points, kind of like you would the S&P, because it's it's in the USD. So for me, if it moves 100 points, it moves $100. And with my lot size, I know how much I make per point, per dollar it moves. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You bet. And so when I come back here and flip on the old Vizzy, you see why Vizen told you to buy it 3 times in a row down here on this bottom trend line. It knew what was going on. About to run 1,000 points back up. That's why everybody needs to watch that bottom trend line, because when it starts to break through, you might get late to the short, you know, because not every time it's not, you know, it kind of curls around and then comes back. One thing I did notice that you guys might want to write down is US 30. All three of these times happened around the 19th and the 20th of the last 3 months. So this one, you know, kind of got started around the 18th, 17th, 18th, 19th area. Same thing with right here in July, 17th, 18th, and 19th, and same thing here within June, 16th, 17th, 18th. So right around the same time. So I'm going to be looking for it to happen again next month around probably I'll start to look for it around the 15th. Start to look for a big short position, but when it starts to drop through here, just be ready to buy it up down here, unless there's like super bad news. Then just kind of be careful and wait for it to kick back off of it, because this Afghanistan stuff, it could get pretty shaky here real soon. I mean, wars are usually pretty good because we can sell people a bunch of stuff and steal their oil, but just be careful, because it could go launching through that bottom trend line.
They may need to go over there and gather up $85 billion of materials they left over there for them.
I'm telling you, man, we spend a lot of money over there.
That was an estimation I seen today. $85 billion in machinery.
Yeah, you worked for it. How does that make you feel, Bobby? I mean, I'm all good with it. You know, if they're going over there for good reasons, I think they had good intent, but you know, behind the scenes they wanted that oil. Because now they're just
the poppies too, right?
What's up?
The poppies too, like for the pharmaceuticals. I thought it was because of that too.
Oh, poppy plants?
Yeah.
That sounds more like Mexico. I mean, we got my mom had poppy plants in her front garden.
Oh.
They're like, I mean, they're pretty plants. Like, as long as you don't have bad intentions with them, you know.
Yeah.
I think they can grow close enough to home to not have to source them from Afghanistan.
I was gonna ask, do you not use the triple EMA and the Vision
I do.
SNR like Cass does?
Oh yeah.
Is the Vision SNR you don't really need to because you're drawing those lines, right?
No, I just cleared everything out when I started this live, so it'd just be fresh, clean, you know, not a bunch of lines everywhere.
Okay.
A lot of okay, so I've been day trading the 5 and the 1 minute a lot, because like on this new scalper mode, you gotta be fast as hell with the 1 minute. I mean, you gotta be. There's good moves in here, big moves in here, but you gotta be fast. Like if you're not able to get in and out within 60 seconds, you know, just kind of give that to yourself. Then don't trade the 1 minute. But there's a bunch of good moves in here, and so drawing your trend line in here. Like I see a spot right here. Let me just slap a trend line right here. Kind of seeing this trend right here. Okay, so right here we're on the 1 minute. I'm not like, you know, you could take like literally almost every one of these signals right here were good ass fucking signals. Some of the bears, you know, you might have got hit unless you took your profit quickly, but like these are all good signals, but I'm not taking those. I want the ones that are on my trend line. And like when we're bouncing off of that thing, you know what I mean? So there's one late one here, so you know that's okay. Can't be perfect every time. Can't catch them all, Pokemon, you liars. But like that bull signal, definitely would have been in on that. You know, like these, like I'm waiting. Like this is what I want to see. I want to see this thing bounce off that trend line. And so when this thing comes down and now it's broken this trend line, that tells you exactly what happened. That's now a bearish trend. So when it breaks it and it never comes back, she gone until it breaks now that bearish trend. So like that's the signals I'm looking for. But yeah, I really like. So on the 1 minute, I can make a lot of money fast because I'm just looking for 10 points, 20 points. You know, if I see 25 points, I'm definitely gone, because that's $250 on a 0.1 lot size. So I do that 4 times, which I can do that 4 times in the span of probably 15 minutes or less. Now I just made $1,000 for the day. So I really like the 1 minute, even though I've always told people, like, stay off the 1 minute, because you're missing out, you know, on a lot of movement. You know, you're going to be faked out of a lot of stuff, you know. But I think if you're capable enough to get in and out like you should, then the 1 minute's really powerful. Other than that, though, the 5 minute, same thing. You draw your trend line, and then trade it until it breaks it. But yeah, I use where I was going with that. That's why I don't talk to people. I just got off on a rant. So I've been playing with the EMAs, and like I look at the 9 a lot for day trading, real quick. So if it's above it, then it's bullish. If it gets below it, it's bearish. You know. But I kick it up to a 10, because then it takes one more bar to kind of confirm what I'm looking for. So just so everybody knows, a lot of people think that EMA lines and stuff count days. They don't. They count candles, not days. Now, if you're on the daily chart, then it counts days, because each candle's worth a day amount, you know, of time. But EMAs count the bars. So if I got it on a 10, it's counting back 10 bars and kind of averaging it out. So it's kind of silly to think that if this was daily, like a daily EMA, like, you know, a 9-day EMA, like people say, like, to think that the line would move that much just by this one candle moving. You know. Anyway, I get a kick out of it every time somebody says it, especially when they're trying to sell you their course. But same thing, like, and then I like to use the 20 a lot, which I highly suggest having the 20 on your chart. Not just with US 30. I've been looking at it with a lot of other stuff, and the 20's really seems popular. But for me, again, I've been playing with kicking it up 1 point. So I'm putting it on 21 instead of a 20, just so I get that one extra candle of confirmation that it's going to actually, you know, because if the EMA line's pointing up, that could be another little confirmation for your position. You know, if you're wanting to look in a long position, and you know, like I said, you're waiting for the RSI to be down, this to be there, blah blah blah. You know, that line there pointing up and it crossing through it can be another confirmation for you. And then, so other than that, it'd be the 50. And the same thing there, I would bump it up to a 51 just so you get that extra candle. Anyway, yeah, I use those. And then the SNR, dude, the support and resistance deal, I mean, I would say that's mainly what I'm watching. I'll have like one line in there for a trend line. These yellow boxes kind of get ignored unless it's close to it like this. Like, you see how it's close to it, so I'd be watching it. You see how it got supported here, came back and got supported again. They're going to try to break this down below where my yellow box is, so I'll be watching it now that it's there. But you know, a lot of times the yellow box, it's not even going to be on your chart if you're on like a 5 minute like this, because my next stop is, there's a small yellow line there that comes into play sometimes. My next stop would be down here, or the one at the top. So the yellow boxes kind of get ignored most of the time unless they're coming into play. Like right here, it got supported, same thing. So they're there, but unless they're at it, I don't pay attention to them. I use the EMA lines, the support and resistance, and then those 3 indicators I showed here: stochastic, RSI, and the MACD. And the MACD, all I'm looking for on it is where the MACD and the signal line, if it's way above the histogram, the histogram is these bars down here, and I'm looking, basically draw an invisible line at the 0 right there on the MACD histogram. If it's way above that 0 histogram line, I'm not going to look to go long probably right there, because that's pretty high. And this thing will cycle back and forth, obviously. So, you know, if the MACD line and the signal line are below the 0 point on the histogram, then I'll look maybe for a long position. But, you know, it should be, if the RSI is dumped down low, and stochastic's low and stuff, the MACD lines will typically be down there too. So I look for the confirmations, and sometimes I kind of trade stupid and get into something I shouldn't, if the RSI is high or whatever. But that's like, it's dependent on the situation, if it's, like this right here, it's getting supported multiple times, I might get in here for a bounce. Because this looks like a tiny ass move, but it's really not. I mean, there's so far at least 130, 150 bucks in there for me on a 0.1. And if you trade bigger size than that, then there's a lot more for you. But you just the shitty thing, I think, is just trading the 0.01 on US 30 until you get, give yourself enough room, to start trading 0.1. I think, because when I have my account up, like it was probably around 8, 9, 10,000. And then I'd only take one position at a time. Like the drawdown or bad timing or whatever, like it really doesn't affect you. You're not worried about being closed out unless it runs, over 1,000 points against you. But that doesn't do it very often. So it's nice to like be able to be in a position. Oh, it's red right now, so you can have that cushion to kind of not have to look back in the mirror. Checking for the cops to pull you over every 5 seconds,
Is that the highest you're doing is 0.1s?
Well, I've done a couple half lots. They didn't, they would have ended up well if I taken my profit. But I was like, it's like 2,800, let me see if this will go to $3,000. Same thing, dude. I tell people all the time, when you tell yourself, I just want to see if it'll go a little more, get out. But I tell them also, like, I still learn it every day. Because that, like, if you tell yourself, I just want to see if it'll go a little more, that's when you should exit. Sure enough, like, that's when I should have exited. But yeah, half lots are, they get the blood going. Because right there, you're making $50 or losing $50 per point. And they make some profits quick. Like, on a half lot, on a 0.5, to make my, $100 or $250, I mean, you're only looking for 3 points above covering your spread. So that's really nice, but it can tear you up real quick. I think to do a half lot safely, you need at least probably anywhere from 30 to 50,000 in your account safely. I mean, you can do it, and you can get your account to 50,000 real quick, but to do it safely, where you can deal with a little bit of bad timing, I'd say that's a good number. Anyway.
That's pretty accurate.
Oh, and I like the 15-minute a lot too, by the way. 15 is gorgeous.
Do you ever play with the 5-minute, or you're more exclusive to the 15 these days?
1 and 5 is what I've been trading a lot lately, but I do play with the 15 sometimes. The 15-minute when I'm day trading, the 15 minutes really what I go to kind of see the overall kind of move, like, hey, is there a trend here that I'm not seeing on the 1 or the 5? And the 15-minute will show you. Like, if there's a bull flag on the 15-minute, but it doesn't look like there's one on the 5 or the 1, the 15-minute is typically where it's going to show you. So I kind of use it to kind of check back and forth. So I guess you could say sometimes I'm trading it, because if I'm looking, that's a bull flag, so I'm going to go long on the 15,
Okay, so you're looking at the 15 as kind of like show you just the overall trend on the short 1 and 5 minute.
Yeah, like the 15. A lot of Forex and US 30 traders trade the 30-minute as well, but I would say the majority are trading 15, and so there's scalpers like us on the 1 and the 5. But a day trader is typically never going to go above the 15-minute time frame. So I'm going to be over here with the rest of the day traders. So, the 15-minute is going to show me what everybody's doing for the day typically. Like, okay, are we all going bullish or are we all going short,
Okay, that kind of makes sense. So that's semi how I do I like the 5 minute. The 1 minute's kind of too quick for me.
Right.
But I usually stay on the 5, and then like say my position reverses, and I'm like starting to get a little bit like crap, and am I about to die out on the? I flip to the 15 to see how that overall movement right in that area is going.
Exactly.
What resistance that I'm not seeing on the 5 I'm coming up to, that I haven't moved over to my 5 type thing, and
yep.
Usually I'll calm the nerves a little bit and go, okay, we're chilling,
yep.
We're all right, and that's kind of like it's actually helped me out a lot. So I was kind of curious where you guys are hanging around too.
Yeah, so far if I go to look at like when I have gone to look at the 1 hour and the 4 hour to kind of base my trades off of, I've lost, and I wouldn't say I was wrong, because every time that I went to the 1 and the 4 hour and made my assessment of, okay, should it be coming down here, should it be going up, I was right. But I think I just I don't know, I get shook out or whatever, but I've lost, so I stopped going to the 1 hour and the 4 hour to kind of get a judge on what it should be doing. And since I've done that and went to the 15 minute for that, it's been way better.
Okay. So when you're doing your major trend lines and stuff like that, what time frame are you using to kind of get those established? Are you sticking with the similar to what you're trading, or
no? Those I go to the 1 and the 4 hour every time, because I want to know where the main lines are. Like gotcha. This one down here. This is this should be that 1,000-point dumper trend line, and then these they're not as important. These ones here in the middle. Like I said earlier, if it blows right through them, I wouldn't be surprised, because they're there and they do come into play a lot, but they're not something like down here. If it gets down here, people just start buying it up, And like when it starts making all-time highs, people start loading in short positions, which is smart. FYI, for everybody that wanted to know.
When it hits that all-time high, you're saying?
Yeah, when it starts hitting new all-time highs, it's kind of like down here. If it starts bumping this bottom trend line, you'd be smart. Like if I play a 0.1 lot size, I'd start loading in 0.01s down here every time it tried to bounce this thing, and really all the way back up, and then when it hits all-time highs, I would start loading in short positions, because eventually it's going to bounce back off of them, That's one great thing about US 30 is it kind of retraces itself every damn day.
Cool. Okay.
But yeah, on like the 1 and the 4 hour, that's where I go for my main trend lines. And then like when I'm day trading, I just draw those short little kind of blue lines you seen me drawing earlier. I just draw those in where the trend is and trade it. I don't like to go against it, but I will if it gets far enough away from that trend line. Like if I'm on I'll show you in a second. Let me, like right here, I was just going to show you this. Put this main trend line down here because you can see this is where every one of these 1,000+ point dumps have ended. So look to start loading in longs right there. Look to start loading in shorts up here. Let me go back to like the 15 or the 5. And you can do this, what I'm going to show you with the EMAs as well. Let me turn this off. So like if it's kind of looking like there's a little trend in here. When it gets, now we can, no, not that one, this one. So like when it starts to get up here away from that trend line, I kind of look at that blue line as like almost like a VWAP. If you've ever traded with a VWAP indicator on like SPY and whatnot, like usually it gets away from it, but it's like almost like a gravitational pull that it has to come back. That's the way I look at it anyway. It's got to come back to test it at some point. So if it starts to get away from it quite a bit, and my stochastic's way up here, RSI is high, MACD was high, quite a bit above the 0 histogram line, I look for just a little scalp back to that trend line. And I probably won't hang in there for the whole move back to the trend line, because like I said, I only need 10, 15, 20 points, and I just made a couple $100, so. And then, like I was saying, you can also do it with the EMA lines. This should be on the 50, right? Yeah, so the 20 is the one that I see do it the most. Let me thicken this up so you guys can see it. Let me do brighter color maybe. Yeah, we'll do red so you guys can see it. So like, if you watch it, let's see this big downtrend right here. Yeah, I same deal. Like I use it like almost like a gravitational pull kind of thought, where it comes, it's got to come back to it. Bounces away, it's got to come back to it. Bounces away, got to come back to it. Bounces away, come back to it over and over and over and over and over. So, and the 20, I see the 20 on US 30 being used by more traders than the 50. So the 20 is the one that I mainly watch. The 50's on there. Like I'll always have the 50 on there, and sometimes the 200. But the 20 is what seems to be everybody trades. Because there's people out there that only trade, you know, based on the 20 EMA on the US 30. You could like just the way it trades based on the 20, you can see it. You know, it's like if it starts to break through here, break through the 20, and like you can see that it almost tests it, right? It almost gets above it like a support. Test it as a support and then picks up off of it like you had a support there, right? Well, if you come in here and let me blind that real quick so you can see, like if we put a trend line right here and then we turn back on our EMA and they both line up at the same spot, you know, it's kind of like, okay, well, was it the trend line that it broke out of and now got supported and now that's why it's had a trend change, or was it because the EMA? And it's probably because both of them lined up there at the same time and then it broke out of it. So having your trend line, that's why, like, this is what I meant by, like, I only do one line for my trend. If it's a bearish trend, my line is on top of it and that's it. I don't care about a line underneath it because it can honestly dump to wherever it wants. If it's a bullish trend, then my line will just be below it. And so once it trade, like, you know, like this move right here, this would be how my bullish trend would be. So I would just put one line below it. I'd look for it to come back to it, you know, if I wanted to get a short scalp, and if I wanted to get a long scalp, I'd wait for it to bounce back off that trend line. And then like right here, you can see where it broke our trend line right here, came down, and you can see now it's getting some resistance at that 20, and it finally broke through it. But then again, like we did before, you could take a trend line and put a trend line in here and, you know, is it the 20 or is it the trend line, you know? So definitely I think having the vision, support, and resistance on here, your single or however you want to do your trend lines, 2, 1, whatever, doesn't matter. Just make sure you're drawing your trend lines. That's like one of the, I would say, probably the most powerful thing you could do. If you're not drawing trend lines, you're kind of just out there gambling, in my opinion. And then the 20 EMA, and then have some vision thrown on there to kind of confirm what you're thinking. Or maybe if you didn't see something, vision maybe throwing a bull or a bear signal might help you find it.
So, do you put much weight in any bull or bear flags that you notice as the candles are forming?
You mean like the ones that flash?
No. Like when you define actual bear flag or bull flag within the chart.
Yeah, you better. Especially on the US. Like that's literally, start watching US like as much as you can. That's all this freaking thing does. Is bull flag or bear flag. And it's easier to see like on the lower time frames like 1 and 5. And it's sometimes on the 15. 15 is going to be a lot more squished, you know. But like down here, it made a bear flag right here. And then another one right here. And it came up, made this kind of bullish flag right here one time. Kind of popped it. Kind of did another one there a little bit. And then there was this one right here. That's really all I've noticed it doing. You know, like here's another bear flag right here. Broke lower. Another bear flag, broke lower. And then they finally broke that bearish trend. And then it started to go up. But lately, all I've been noticing that US 30 is doing is flagging one direction or the other.
Yeah, same here. That's what I was kind of asking because it seems like it's so frequent.
Yeah.
And I hit a bear flag like perfect last week, I think a .01 or it might even have been a .03 lot, but it shot. It like just dropped out hard.
Hell yeah.
Something bucks on it. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But I tried it on another one. It looked like a bull flag was forming, and it almost seemed like it turned itself into a bear flag before like shot. So I ended up on the wrong side of the position I got into early, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I need to work on my time flags.
Yeah, I mean, I think it takes some getting used to and watching. Because, like, the flag won't be perfect every time. You know, like a bull flag is, honestly, it's supposed to be, you know, your pole, and then, well, we won't do a straight up line because that's not accurate. It's supposed to be your pole, and then you're supposed to be able to draw a line on the chart like this. So it's supposed to be bouncing like this after it makes the pole, right? And then afterward it pops up. So it's supposed to trend downwards after it's made the pole, but a lot of times it doesn't. A lot of times it'll, like, you'll have your pole and then, like, your flag will go this direction, you know. So it's never gonna be perfect. But yeah, I think just watch the chart more and look for those patterns, and you'll start seeing them. Like, it's pretty funny, honestly, because it's just over and over and over and over. Like this right now, I would watch this move that it's making currently, unless right now it starts to pick up, because one, it broke the trend that it was having here, and then if you look at this right here, this is kind of one of them bear flag moves that it likes to make, right? So like I was showing over here with these two kind of H patterns, I like to call them. They start out as a bear flag, and then it kind of just curls over and falls, right? And it kind of looks like there could be little H pattern starting to happen there. So probably be watching that. And then if we look at Vision real quick, Vision hasn't said buy it either on the new scalper mode, which is I figured it would have when it bounced that trend, but it hasn't yet. So that's maybe not so good news for the bulls. But anything can happen on this thing.
Hey, are you doing market execution or buy limits?
Market.
Okay. But it's probably hard to time the buys.
Yeah.
It's like skipping around.
Yeah, where I would use limit is I'd have some limits set to automatically buy it for you if it comes down to this bottom trend line. That's where I would set limits. You know, because then, like, you can be asleep when it hits it, maybe, you know, and maybe miss an entry, or a good entry anyway, which would suck, especially on something that's going to retrace 1,000 points. Sheesh. Yeah, that's where I'd use limits. Honestly, there's not enough time to set limits and try. Oh, well, I want to be in at 35, 430. I won't take any less than it. Like, you don't have time for that. Not on this anyway. On option contracts and stuff, limits are definitely good. It's kind of like over there, like on the option contracts, like hitting the bid or the ask. I always usually do the mid, so I get filled pretty quickly. But yeah, on the US 30, it's like you don't have enough time to play around, it seems like, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what this move does here. It's kind of being supported by that 20, like we were talking about. But it broke this trend right here, so, and of course it looks like there's a intimate bear flag there. We'll see though. It's Sunday night.
I'm totally short.
Are you short, Cash?
Actually, no, I'm not in yet. because I saw it break out of the bull flag, and then it did its drop, and I was like, okay, so what's it doing? So yeah, now I'm just waiting to see exactly what it's doing.
Yeah. See, for me, I think a lot of people cash are trying to hold too long. Trying to get like the whole move, big move, 150, 200 points, blah blah blah. I feel you, but for me anyway, there's been more money in more trades, so that that kind of sucks. Sure, like one trade would be nice, but if I could take 15 or 20 and be more profitable and more consistent, then that's the way I'm gonna go. So getting in and out for me has been more profitable. Like all these moves right here, like there's bull here, you could have definitely made some money on this. Could have, like, even that bear signal lasted one candle, you definitely could have made money on it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Scalps are very profitable.
Really profitable. And like right here, if you got into this bull late even and rode this thing up, I mean, there's 130 points in there for you getting in late. And it doesn't look like a big move because it's on the 5 minute, but there's 53 points in this move, so let's say you got half that, 25. I mean, that's $250 on a 0.1. That's why I just try to, all you guys that are on the small accounts, like, try to get to that point to where you can safely trade 0.1s, and you'll never go back to anything else. I'm telling you. And it really doesn't take that long to get to that 0.1 level. It really doesn't. Like there's 57 points right here in this whole move. So again, let's say you got half that, 25 points, let's say, $250. And you could have made probably the same off this little bear right here if you watch this thing break through that 20. 30 point potential there. So I think the little moves are what pays for me. They're a lot safer.
Most definitely.
I mean, yeah, we could go trade the 4 hour and it looks, oh yeah, that ain't nothing, You're just going back and forth between trend lines, and it's true. I guess I'm just used to, I'm probably just too used to scalping and taking in and out trades. Cause like I don't know. I don't think I could do it. I used to swing trade stuff, and it'd be nice. But like right now, like when it came, like see like this big move right here, like if you bought in on this trend line and rode this back up, 750 points, I'd feel like I was dying when it came back here and dipped down to 466 points here, So I probably would have been stupid and taken profit halfway up this thing. There's good moves in it though.
Hey, so when the Stoke RSI is like overbought, but the RSI is in the middle, like what's the move? Is it just stay out or?
Say that again.
I said when the Stokes RSI is like overbought, but the RSI is basically in the middle at like 50, 54 looks like right now.
Oh, you're asking if they don't both line up?
Yeah, like what's the move kind of?
No, man, that stochastic. I trade with that stochastic more than I do the RSI, honestly. Like the stochastic's fire. Like if you so let's turn everything off real quick. And so if you only paid attention to, like, let's say, you got vision on there, you got the support lines on there as well. You could really, I don't want to tell anybody, like, you could get away with just trading based on like that 20 EMA and the stochastic, just those two, and then your vision and then vision support and resistance, because obviously these lines would have been down here at the time. Like your stochastic kind of shows you the move, and this is like, again, the scalping thing. If you look at this, the stochastic didn't come all the way back down to like where I got the green bar drawn in down here on the stochastic indicator. But if you came in here where it was high and you just scalp this for a short, I mean, there's 40 points in there. On a 0.1, that's up to $400. That's huge. And then you go back and wait for the next one. You know, like this one over here. Again, the stochastic's high. It's away from the 20 EMA. Like I said earlier, I kind of look at it like a gravitational pull. It's got to come back. And so, I mean, there's potential for another 40 points in there. So right there, 2 trades, kind of pretty much back to back. $800 potential, maybe more, you know, depending on your lot size, I guess. But yeah, like they don't have to line up. I just like when the RSI and the stochastic, like when everything lines up together, telling me the same thing, like, hey, go long, you know, because everything's like just down in the mud. It's gonna be like one of them 100-point rippers, you know, like it's gonna come back out of that, you know, it's just gonna fly like 100 points, you know, like those are just the good ones. But yeah, I don't discriminate. I'll take trades anywhere. You know?
Oh yeah.
But like here, another kind of deal. The RSI is pretty high here, but come back to that 20 EMA, you know. Stochastic was high. The stochastic shows like kind of who's in control in the line form. So when the bulls start to take profit, and you know there stops to be so much like buying power. That kind of what that shows. So you know, kind of peeking out of here, and then when it starts to come back into that blue zone, good stuff. Same thing with going long. Like, you know, all these little positions right here. It looks small because we're on the 5-minute again, but like this little move right here, if you can pick that, you know, there's 10, 15 points there. You know, up to $150 on a 0.1. There's some more right here. 35 points. Oh, and then another thing, Cash, I don't think I showed you this either yet. See, I got this red line and the green line drawn in on the RSI.
Yeah.
I just let me go to like a 15 so it kind of scrunches up more in there. I might have been doing it on the 5. Yeah, I think I did this on the 5 or the 1. One of the two. Hang on a minute. It's showing like how, I meant to show everybody this earlier, how like everything trends, right? So like I drew this red line in here at this certain spot and the green line in here at this certain spot because I think my green line moved, but you can see like that RSI, it has like a common spot that it comes to a lot. So when it gets down there, and if you go back and look at it, like, you know, pretty good little buy positions in there. Then if you look at the top, it's kind of like another little common spot that likes to come to. Everything has a pattern. The stocks and everything. Everything's got a little pattern, so you can line up like when was like the really overextended spots, you know, and then boom, start to short it. There's a big short right there. Just trying to find those patterns, you know.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, like the stochastic. I mean, it does. But me, you know, that's I drew in this green box and that red box, just to kind of help quickly identify, hey, is it a buy right now or is it a sell right now, you know. Oh, nice. Look at her go. Yeah, so see, the next spot this needs to get through is our old trend line. So if it gets back above that, then we could look to be bullish again. But, you know, until it did that, I probably wouldn't touch it. You know, just being this Sunday night, not really many traders in there right now. Could do anything. Anything can happen. You know, one big seller could come in and wipe your ass out if you're long. Anyway, if there's no more questions, I'm going to run to the gas station real quick. Anybody got a question?
My smoke alarm's finally fixed, y'all.
Did you hit it with a hammer? Throw it in the trash?
Oh, I was so tempted.
Take the battery out? That works.
No, actually, this thing was still beeping with the battery out.
The wired in. That's just a
Yes.
safety battery.
Oh my gosh, it was horrible.
How's the weather down your way?
I ain't even got a drop of rain yet today. I think it's supposed to come
Which
in.
part are you at exactly?
Central, kind of like central Louisiana. I think it's supposed to land here, like, well, it's just kind of be like the side of it, but enough to knock the power out in this stupid ass town. It's like midnight or so. I think we're supposed to start seeing some rain or something.
Yeah, I think the worst side of it's gonna get us though.
Where are you at?
Well, right now I'm in Grenada, but my home is on the west side over Meridian Way.
Ah.
It's gonna come right up 55 and then hang a right.
Yeah.
Come right up through like Jackson and all.
I think when I looked at it earlier, it kind of looked like it broke up quite a bit. So hopefully it just kind of turns into some nice rain showers and goes on about its business.
It'll be a tropical storm at least when it comes through here.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it dies down. Don't tear up too many more people's stuff.
But yeah, Home Depot may go up tomorrow.
You're probably right, man. And wood.
Lowe's.
You're probably right. Guess I better buy some options. Alright, y'all. I'm going to run to the gas station before they close. If you guys have any questions on anything, just message me. Maybe give me some time to message back.
Thank you. Really appreciate this session. It was very important.
No problem, man. Let me know when you guys want to do it again. I'm going to have to go over kind of the same stuff for Max Payne. She wasn't able to join us tonight. So, I think she's... Cash, did you say... See what... She's told me what days were best for her, but... Let me check the message. Let's see. Thursdays and Fridays are best for her. So, we'll probably do something again Thursday or Friday.
That works.
Alrighty, guys. Thanks for joining and asking questions.
Good night.
See y'all
See ya.
later.